Okay. So we are going to go ahead with the locators today. So these are the different locators wherein we are going to use them to identify the element. So now let us take an example. You are a person here. Sorry. So you are a person here. And you have to meet a person. So I'm kind of like, you are a script. Okay. So let us consider you are a script. So now I told you to go and meet a particular person. He is located in some location. Okay. So let us take this a web page. Okay. And there we have like a kind of like, let us take this a place wherein like, let us consider this is an application. So this is kind of like a tool. Okay. I'm telling Selenium, okay, through the script, go and try to do some action on the web page. Okay. So in general, okay. So in general, I'm just giving some examples. Like, as a human being, what we are trying to do is like, you are a person here. Okay. So you are a person. I told you to go and meet someone. Okay. So meet someone. So that person is like, he is located somewhere. Okay. So let us take like you are in Bangalore and this guy is in Hyderabad. Okay. So I told you to meet this person in a particular location with some identification. Okay. So with some identification, what is the identification that I'm going to give is like, so you're a person in Bangalore and now you're going to go and talk to him. Okay. So now how do you initiate this communication? So now you're going, I'm going to give some identifications like, that person is like, his name is Srikanth. He is located in Lingampalli. And his address is something around like Nallagandla. So I'm just giving some address. Okay. So X address. Okay. And his mobile number is like some XXXX. Okay. So this is the mobile number and his identifications. Okay. Identification is like his tall, like you can say that height, and then you can say that some color. Okay. You can say that complexion. Okay. So these are the things. So first is like you got the information like that person name is Srikanth and he resides in Lingampalli and his actual location is Nallagandla in some apartment. And now his mobile number is this one, his identification. Then it's like height and complexion. First, what you try to do is like you are going to get the information like my name is like Srikanth. Okay. So if, for example, your name is like something X, let us take like you are Mr. X. So now Mr. X is going to meet the Srikanth with this identification. First, what you're going to do is like you're going to take the name, and the most suitable thing is like we have like mobile number. Okay. So first you'll come to Hyderabad and try to reach through the mobile number. So if I'm not reachable through the mobile number, then what you do is like now you'll take the second option. What is that? You're going to go to the Lingampalli. Then after that, you're going to go to the Nallaganda. Okay. So if I'm not available at this location, for example, if I'm not available at this location, then you're going to use some other mechanism. Okay. So what is that other mechanism is like directly you're going to call someone or else the next person who is residing in the nearby apartment. Okay. Next apartment. So you're going to connect with the X, like, Mr. X, and you're going to talk about the details, like, you may know that Srikanth, like, do you know Srikanth resides here and is like, his this one and his identification is like, he has is like, you get the height and everything. He'll be discussing about my complexion, how does I exactly look in. Okay. So what you are trying to do is like, you are trying to identify me with these properties. Okay. So likewise, what happens is like, whenever we are writing the scripts, and we are trying to identify the elements on the web page. Okay. For example, I'm just trying to open a web page here. This is a web page. So this web page, I'm just asking Selenium to enter something here. Okay. Enter username and password. How does it exactly going to identify these elements now? So it should have some properties, right? So these elements will have a properties. So each and everything, whatever we are able to see on this web page is called a element. Okay. So it is called element. This is element, this is element, this is element, everything is kind of an element. So every element has some properties. Okay. So how do we identify those properties? So right click on this, you can see there is an inspect option. Okay. So right click on the web browser, you can see the inspect option. Just click on this inspect. Now you'll see what are the different properties of this. Okay. So what you need to do is like, this is called inspector. Okay. So this is like inspector. It will identify the element properties. Just click on it. This is a DOM. Okay. Document object model. So this DOM will have all the properties of that particular web page. So now click on this and mouse over on this particular element wherein you want to identify. You want to enter some data here, right? So click on this. So now you'll get the properties. Okay. So this is kind of element which has a tag, input name, input, and it's like properties are like, class, name, placeholder, and autofocus. Okay. So now we'll see the which one is like feasible to us. Okay. Which one is like, which one has like, meaningful name here. Okay. Meaningful thing. So we have a name, username. Okay. Placeholder, username. So you can use any one of this. Okay. You can use any one of this to identify this element. So likewise, we have other properties also. If you are not able to identify the element with username, like, name, you'll go with the placeholder. And after that, you have autofocus. Okay. So likewise, we have different properties here. So we don't have ID here. We don't have class name here. We have a name directly. So we're in one way of identifying the element. That is nothing but you can see we have a name here. So what we do is like we are going to use this name and we are going to identify the element. Okay. So first we'll try to understand these things. Okay. ID, name, class name, and link text and partial links. So these are the these are like, XPath is the language and CSS selector is kind of like it's a style sheet. Okay. So Cascade style sheet. So that's nothing but these are two different technologies where we are going to identify the element. If it is not possible through ID, name, class name, link text, or partial link text. Okay. So if you're not able to identify the element with the help of these locators, then we are going to go with the different techniques. Okay. So these are nothing but XPath and CSS are like XPath is a language and CSS is like a Cascade. It's a style sheet. Style sheet. So with the help of this, we are going to identify. As I told you, right? So first you are trying to approach with the feasible things. Let us take this is the ID. Okay. And this is kind of like a name. Okay. So this is kind of like a class name. And this is kind of like some partial link test or something. So if you are not able to identify with this, then what you are going to do is like you are going to take some different properties. Okay. That's nothing but you are going to go with the identification like, height, complexion, and you can like, you can just go ahead with like, the type of clothes you wear and everything. Okay. So all these things are kind of like the other properties wherein we are going to identify the element with this property. Okay. So this is nothing but it's a Selenium script and this is nothing but a web page. And here we have a different elements. Okay. Elements in the sense identification, the properties. How do we identify that particular element? And what are the actions that you want to perform? After you get me, like, after you met me, so you want to talk something. You want to give the money or you want to discuss something about like, which is kind of like actions that we are going to perform. Okay. Once we get the object identified. Okay. So here what you want to do? You want to enter the username. Okay. So likewise enter the password here. Okay. It's as simple as like we are trying to identify the element, then we are trying to perform action on someone. Okay. So this is kind of like a person and your person, you're going to, once you identify that particular person, then what you do, you are going to talk to him about like, whatever you want to do. Okay. So you want to communicate something like, secret, there's something like kind of a task that you are going to accomplish. Okay. So all these things can be done after object identification. Okay. So first we'll try to identify the element, then we'll see that what are the actions that we are going to perform on that particular element. Okay. So let me take the other side also. So mostly guys, I'm going to use these two applications and the other one is like, I'm going to use the Amazon also. Okay. So Amazon.in, this is like, real-time application. Then we are going to identify the elements. Okay. So let's identify the elements first in Amazon. So to kickstart to understand it in a better way, because this is available in a available to the wider audience. Okay. So now you see, we have kind of like class here. And for this, you can see there is a ID. Okay. There is a ID. So what it does, so it's going to identify the element. So now I need to tell the tool, go and identify this element. Okay. So for this, we have the approach wherein we are going to identify the element in two ways. One is like directly you can go and click on this, and if you want to identify the total main page, you can see this is nothing but the element, and element has like different. See, now we have like element, under this element we have a child elements. Okay, so it has a hierarchy, guys. This is kind of like a parent, this is kind of like a, okay, this is grandparent, parent, child. Under that we have a subchains. Okay, so how this will be defined in case of like in HTML. So we have nodes. Okay, we have a different nodes. Under that nodes you can see we have a tag. Okay, this is a tag, this is a tag, this is that, and we are calling it as like a kind of a parents or grandparents or children. So hierarchy, based on hierarchy we are going to identify the elements. Okay, now you see div ID. Okay, so I want to see, when I just want to highlight this particular, when I highlight this, it will be highlighting, like it will be showing these are the elements which comes under as part of like particular tag. Okay, so div tag. So ID is like Navix X shop. Okay, so I want to get all the text of it. So for example, I want to identify the element. First, I want to identify the element. So I'll be writing a simple script here. So that will identify the element. Let's take something as like unique element. Then we can go ahead with the some different elements also. Okay, so let me just go ahead. Okay, we have input here. I want to type something inside this particular search box. Okay, so first we'll go here and we are going to write a script for this. So rename test. Under this, I'm going to write object identification example. So what is the first thing that we have to write? So we have to, okay, let me just write a main method. Inside this, I'm going to set the property system dot get property, and here we have two strings to pass. Okay, so one is like what kind of driver that you want to load and where is that driver located. For example, I want to load Chrome driver. Okay, so for that, what is the string that we have? Driver WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver. Okay, and the location is located here. You can see this is the browser folder wherein the browser driver is located. So here I'm going to put it. Now what I'm going to do? I'm going to use WebDriver is equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, so WebDriver is like interface and implementation class of WebDriver is Chrome driver. We need to import the package. So this is it. Okay, what is that? Okay, so this is the package wherein all the classes interfaces are located. Okay, org.openqa.selenium.webdriver are all this package, all the classes and everything will be residing inside this package. Okay, so now what is that method that we have to use? We have to use like d.get. Okay, get method is like, it's kind of like it's going to, what is the get method? What exactly get method does is like, you can see. So loads a new web page in the current browser window. This is done using the HTTP post operation. Okay, so there is a method which is available as part of like, you know, APIs. So that is nothing but get method. Okay, so you can say like WebDriver is a collection of APIs. Okay, collection of APIs. What are the APIs that we have is like, we look at that. First is like get. Okay, so get is like, it will just load the application in a current browser. So what is that current browser? Chrome driver is a current browser. Okay, so now what is that we are trying to open is like, this is the page that you want to open. Okay, so after like, you know, opening the browser, I want to maximize it. For that we can use d.manage.window.maximize. Okay, so what it does is like, it will maximize the page. Now after this, what I'm going to do is like, I'll use one method. Don't worry about that. What I'm talking about, like we'll discuss about this timeouts in synchronization. Okay, so for now I'm just using the implicit wait so that it will wait for that particular duration. Okay, so if I'm if the page is loaded. After that, I want to wait for that elements, okay, elements to get loaded. So for that, what I'm going to do is like, I'll be using this e.manage.timeouts.implicit wait, okay. So e.off seconds. Okay, so it will wait all the elements to get loaded in this 30 seconds. For example, we have a web page and some elements would take some time, right? So it's going to give some default time. In the 30 seconds of time, it will just wait for all the elements to get loaded. If any element is not loaded, then it's going to throw the error like no such element or timeout exceptions. Okay. So now, yeah, now we have like, we have set the properties for loading the browser, sorry, loading the Chrome driver. After that, we are opening the Chrome driver. Okay. After that, we are going to maximize that particular web page. What we say, browser. Okay. So after that, we have some timeouts, and after that, we are loading the web page in the current browser. Okay. So we are loading the web page in the current browser. So after this, let's see what happens now. First, will it load or not? That we have to check. Okay. Okay, we got the Amazon page. Now we have to enter something here. Okay, I want to enter some Apple phones. I'll close this browser. The browser is already open and we need to close that browser. Okay, I close it now. What I need to do is like, I need to identify the element. So to identify the elements, we have two methods. Okay, so one is like driver.find elements. Okay, find elements is the method. So find elements is from where it is coming. It is coming from the it is coming from the search context. You can see search context. As we talked about, we have two methods which are like coming from the search context. Okay, search context is like a super interface of Selenium. So here we have like find element and find elements. Okay, so these are the two methods will help you to identify the elements. When you go back here and read the comments here, find the first web element using the given method. Okay, so what it does is like, now when you go here, you want to try to identify this element, right? So for example, you have like two tab search text box available 10 times. Okay, so there can be other search boxes which have the same ID, but what it does is like find element will identify the first occurrence of that element. Okay, first occurrence of that element. If that element is not available, it's going to throw the no such element exception. Okay, so it will go and try to search for that particular web element in this web page. If it is not available, it's going to throw the exception. If it is available, okay, if you have 10, like for example, if you have like 10 elements which are available, it will take the first matching element of the current context. Okay, first matching. For example, let us take here. I'm going to try to identify this element. Okay, so try to identify this element. How many number of elements we got? Here you can see 1 of 426. Okay, 1 of 426. But if I use find element, what it does like, it will give me the first occurrence of it. Okay, the first element whichever is like available. Okay, we have a lot of elements, but it's going to give me only the first element. Okay, so only the first element. Let me again try to search for this. Remove this. For example, I want to try with this tag. Okay, see, I am. So if I use find element, it's going to return me the first element of. Okay, first element, whatever is the first element which is found, it's going to return me. So now we'll go back and try to write the method. So what is the other thing that we have to pass as like parameter? We have to pass the by class. Okay, by is like a class which has a different identifiers. You can see ID, link text, name, partial link text, tag name. So all these are different kind of methods which are available as part of like by class. So by class, what it does is like, see, so mechanism used to locate elements within a document in order to create your own locating mechanism. Okay, own locating mechanism. You want to identify with the ID, whether you want to identify with the name or XPath, everything will be under this particular class. Okay, so likewise, for first what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the ID. So ID and pass the string. Okay, So what is the syntax of identifying the element is like driver dot find element by dot id. Okay, find element of by dot id. So what is this? This is kind of like a parameter that we are going to pass. Go to the find element. So what it is accepting? It is accepting the by class. Go to the by class. It will help you to identify in a different ways. Whether you want to identify with ID, name, everything will be there. Okay, so you can see by ID, by link text, by partial link text, by name, by tag name, by XPath, by class name. So everything is available under this. Okay, so everything is available under this. So let's go back and try to identify with the ID. So what is that ID? So go here and try to search for this ID. Okay, how do we search it? I'll close this and try to show you it again. Right click, inspect element, go to the inspector. Here we have an element identification which will help you to identify the element. So just click on this, mouse over on this search box. It will pull out this particular details. Now we have like see, ID, we have class name, we have a type, we have a name. Okay, name is like key fields. We'll try to identify with name also. Now we'll try to identify with the first identification. Okay, so input, and it's like input tag. Under this we have ID. Okay, so let me go and give it this ID here. Okay, now we got the web element, but we want to perform some action on it, right? We have to enter some data in it. So for this, what we have to do is like, what does it return is like, it's going to return the web element. Okay, it's going to return the web element. So what is the return type? Web element is a return type. Okay, web element is a return type. So we have to store this particular element in a web element. Okay, so web element is like one other interface. We have to just import it. Okay, so web element, we got the web element identified. Okay, so what is the meaning of, for example, if you interview is here and ask you like, what is the meaning of d dot find element by dot id? So d is like a driver. It's an object. Object has like, you know, find element. This is coming from the search context, and search context, these are the parameters it's going to accept. Y is a class. Inside that we have a different types of identification mechanism. Okay, so we have ID, we have name, we have XPath and everything. So what it does is like, it will help you to identify the element based on this particular methods. Okay, so mechanism C, the mechanism is to locate the element within a document. Okay, within a document instance, what is the document? So this is a document. Okay, so complete, it's like all the details of these elements will be inside this particular document. So this document is called DOM, document object model, and this will be kind of like, you know, available when we go and try to click on this inspect, or there is another way, directly we can click on the F12. Okay, so when you click on F12, it will open this particular tool. This is also called as like developer tool. Okay, so this is also called as like developer tool. We have like console, debugging, network, everything will be available. Okay, so this, with this we can inspect all the elements of what is happening on this particular page will be available. All the information will be available in this DOM. Okay, so we call it as like document object model. Now we go back and we got the element now. Okay, so we got the element. What it does is like, it will open the web page and it will try to identify the element based on this parameters. Okay, so if this element is identified, and we get that element as like an object. Okay, so we are going to get that element as like a kind of an object here. So after that we can perform the actions. Okay, so all these web elements, all this whatever we are trying to perform on this particular element is like available under this web element interface. Okay, so web element will have click, submit, send keys. Send keys like, you know, sending the data, sequence of characters. Okay, sequence of characters. And if you want to send some keys also, okay, control F, control D, everything will be done with help of like send keys. So now we have like clear, get tag name. So likewise we have different methods. Okay, so whichever method is like whichever method that we want to perform on this particular, like, whichever method we want to use, those methods will be available under this element. And if, for example, if you want to get the attribute of that, attribute is the properties of that particular element. You want to get the tag of that element. Okay, what is that tag and all? So you can use get tag name. So likewise, I'll show you like how do we exactly use this particular methods from this web element interface down the line. Okay, so now you see what I want to do is like, I want to enter the data. For entering the data, we have to use the send keys. Send keys, and you'll be searching for, let us take a pan of Samsung. So I'm going to use Samsung mobile. Okay, I'm searching for Samsung mobile. Okay, so now it will enter the Samsung mobile. Then after eliminate dot submit. Submit in the sense it will click on enter. Kind of like, it's when you just go to this particular web page, you type Samsung. After that, what you do, you enter, you click on the enter. So what is happening now? It will list down the Samsung mobiles. Okay. So to click on the center, just I'm using the submit. Submit is like submitting the whole form at a time. Okay. Submitting the whole form at a time. For example, if you have username, password, and you have to enter country details, everything, then after what you do, you click on submit, right? So that's nothing but we are going to submit. Submit is like virtually what it does is like, see, submit, the difference between submit and click is like submit if this current element is a form. Okay. So if this current element is a form or enter within a form. Okay. So if you want to enter something, okay, it's kind of like a form. You have to fill up the form and you need to click on submit. Instead of clicking on that button submit, directly you can use this submit. Okay. This method is like it will help you to submit that whole form at a time. Click is like clicking on that particular element. Okay. So clicking on that particular element. For example, if you want to click on this, okay. So it's a click action. But submit is not like that. Submit is like you enter something, you click on, if you want to click on this magnifier or else search button. So instead of doing that, you can directly use the submit. Okay. So let's go back and try to click on that submit and see what happens. Okay. So I'm going to execute this code and see what will be the end results. First, it will load the driver. The driver will communicate with the browser. The browser is entering the Amazon.in. After that, it will enter the data. See, Samsung mobile. So it has entered the data. So it has identified this element. Now we got the web element. Okay. So web element is like identified. After that, what we did? So we just clicked on that submit and we could able to see the results. We'll do the same thing manually. Okay. So we'll do the same thing manually. I'll just copy this. I'll close this browser. Click on this. Enter the URL. Now I'm going to enter Samsung mobile. Click on enter in the keyboard. Now what is happening? We got the same result, right? Here and here we got the same result. Okay, so here and here you got the same result. Still the browser is on. Okay, still the browser is on here. So I'm closing this browser. Now after entering, I want to get the title of this particular page. Okay, title of this particular page. How do I get the title of this particular page? I'll just maximize. Then after submitting, I want to get the title of that particular page. Okay. So for this, what we have to do is like we are trying to get the title. Title is like it's based on the window. Okay, it's not the element. Okay. For that, what we have to do is like we have to use the driver dot get title. Okay. So this method will help you to get the title of that particular web page. Okay. So if you want to perform any actions on the elements, then we have to capture them as like a web element. If you want to perform some actions on the whole web page, then we have to use the driver. Driver is like it will help you to do some actions on the web page. For example, if you want to wait for that particular web page, or if you want to wait for the maximize the window, if you want to get the URL, if you want to get the source of that page, if you want to get the current URL, if you want to get the IDs of that particular window, everything will be there in the WebDriver. Okay, WebDriver is the interface. WebDriver has some APIs. Web element is the interface which has some APIs. What are the common things which are part of WebDriver and web element as like find element? Okay, find element and find elements. Find element will identify only one element at a time. If it is not found, then it's going to throw the exception. Let us take like 1, 2, 3. If I'm putting here 1, 2, 3, now we see what happens. It will go and try to identify that element with the help of like that ID. Okay, if that element is not found, it's going to throw no such element exception. So earlier we got it and it did the actions. Now what is happening now? It is trying to identify that element. So that element is not found. It will wait for that particular period of time. Okay, 30 seconds we have given, right? So it will wait for 30 seconds and it will throw the exception. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. We did not get exception in him. Yeah, now we got the exception. What is that exception? No such element exception, because there is no ID with this particular string. Okay, so there is no ID with this string. So that is the reason why it is throwing no such element exception. Find element will throw the no such element exception if the element is not available in the DOM. DOM in the sense, this particular, whatever I'm talking about, like document object model. Okay, so if you want to check that one, now go back to this and you can just inspect this element. See, its ID is 2 tab search text box, but 2 tab search text box is not available. Okay, 1 to 3 is not available. Whatever we have here is like 1 to 3 is not available. Okay, so I'll remove this. Now you see, this is available here. Okay, now go back to this. I can see, just enter this. Okay, so when you click on this, you can able to see this element is available. Okay, so element is available. So it is identifying here. So let me just click on this again. See, it is able to identify the element. Okay, so now go and try to perform the actions. I want to get the window title. Okay, I want to get the window title. After entering some data in the search box and clicking on the submit button, and after that, I want to get the title of that window box. Okay, so after that, I will just to close this. Okay, close in the sense you can use d.close or d.quit. D.close will close only current browser. D.quit will close all the browsers which are opened by this particular web page. Okay, so I'm like particular driver. So yesterday we looked into it, right? So we tried to open multiple tabs and we closed with the help of like d.quit. Okay, so let me go and execute this now. So we are going to get the title after submitting some data into the search box. It is faster, guys, actually. So this is like it will just go and try to perform the actions once the element is available. See. Okay. Now it will close it. What is that? We got the Amazon.in Samsung mobile. So before entering some data or after logging into the after launching the browser and loading the web page, a web application, I want to get the title. And after performing some actions, I want to get the title. Let's see that what are the titles that we are going to get. Okay. To ensure that we have entered some data and we got some web page. Okay, response. As a response, just we want to check whether it is working properly or not. Okay, so before it was like online shopping site in India, and after that, it is like Amazon.in, Samsung mobile. Okay, so what is happening here? So it is identifying some element and it is entering some data in search box, then clicking on submit, and it is rendering the title of that particular web page. Okay, so we'll try to see what are the different types of methods which are available as part of WebDriver first, and then we'll see the web element. Okay, so now I want to identify something here. D dot current URL. What is the current URL of this page? See, what is the current URL? HTTPS www.amazon.in. So this is the URL that we have entered, right? I want to get the source of it. Okay. So to get the page source, I can use page source. Okay. It will bring you the source of that particular page. Okay. So what is the source? So you can see this is nothing but complete document object model. Okay. So we'll see what is the source here. See what is happening? Total script related to that particular page is stored here. Okay. Now if you see all the document related, all the related objects and all the related to that particular page is shown here. This is nothing but page source. Okay. So if you want to store it in a string and then you want to write it to a particular file, that is also quite possible. Okay. So how do we use it now? See, so what it does, it's going to return a string. Okay. So get a string representing the current URL that browser is looking for. Okay. So it returns the URL of the page currently loaded in the browser. Okay. This is for current URL. It is showing up. Page source we want to see. Okay. So get the source of the last loaded page. Okay. Whatever the last loaded page that we have, it will get the source of it. So if you want to write into a particular string, how do we write? If we say, now we'll get the, what will come into the picture now? File writer. Okay. So why do we use, why did we learn about file writer? Is like we want to write something to this file. The help of like file writer. Okay. So a new file. I'm going to give the location. Wherever we have this file located. So here the file is located. And get the properties of it. So it's going to return your throw some exception, right? Now I'll see what happens. Instead of writing on the console, what I'm trying to do is like I'm writing everything to the file. Okay, it is opening the page. Enter the Samsung mobile, then it will close and all the data will be written into the file. So now you see, we got this details. I'll go to this files, refresh it. You'll see a page source. Everything is written to the txt file. Okay, so page source, this is the page source. This is the page source of the Amazon. So what we did, we used file writer object and we try to write that. We are capturing that into a string. After that, what I'm trying to do is like I'm trying to write this data to this file. So what is that file that we have created? This is a file that we have created and we have written and we have closed the file writer. Okay, so this is how we'll be using this, guys. Okay, so file handling. Okay, if you want to write something or read something, so everything can be done with the help of this file handling mechanisms. Okay, we have a lot of things like file writer, buffer writer, and file input stream, file output stream. Okay, file output stream will help you to write the data. File input stream is like reading the data. So likewise, we'll be using this. Okay, let's go to the next one. So d dot, and we'll see what are the other methods. So we have finding elements. Okay, so we already found that element with the help of like d dot find elements, and we'll discuss about find elements little later. Find element I have discussed. Find elements I'll discuss how do we use that find element, when do we use it. Okay, so get string is like getting, like get will help you to load the web page, and get class is like it will return you the class name, the class name of this particular script. Next is like get URL. We saw that we got the URL. Page source is like getting the page. Get title, like get title is like getting the title of it. Get window handles is like get window handle. Okay, get window handle is like every web page will have a ID. Okay, so every web page will have an ID. Now we'll see that what is that ID of this particular web page. With the help of like get window handle, it will return if the ID of that particular web page. We can call it as like, if I'm calling it as like a web page, it's opening a browser, right? So I'm talking about like browser and web page. Now you see, what is the ID? This is the ID. Okay, so this is the ID of that particular browser. So now let's go back to this and try to identify the other things. Okay, try to see what are the other methods which we have. So manage and navigate, switch to, close, and then we have like notify all. This we don't use. wait period. This is also we don't use. But basically, what are the methods that we are going to use? This like we are going to use methods get title, get window handle, and get window handles also. We have window handles, and then we are going to use find element, find elements, and then we use manage. So these are the options on the WebDriver section, whatever you want to perform. Like managing this and managing the maximizing the page, or we have a lot of methods inside this. Okay. So when you see this, it's going to show you like there are methods which will help you to perform on this. Okay. So if I say manage, manage the method. Okay, let me go here. I have used this manage here also, right? See what it does, gets the option interface. Okay, so options interface which is available, and this option interface will have like adding cookies. We can add the cookies, delete cookies, delete cookie names. Okay, so like we have a lot of things available. Okay, timeouts, window to handle the operations on the windows, and then we have like timeouts is like one other interface. Again, internally it will call this timeout interface. So this will help you to manage the things like wait for that particular element to get loaded. So these are the different things that we'll use. Okay, timeout exceptions. If you don't get that element in a given period of time, then it will throw the timeout exceptions or no such element exceptions. So next is like page load also is there. So we can handle the frames. This is like WebDriver. Okay, so this is WebDriver, but you can see there are a lot of things that can be done with help of like manage. Okay, so manage dot. You can see what are the actions that I can perform on this is like we can get the cookies name, get cookies. Okay, if you want to get the cookies, you can get the cookies also. What are cookies? If particular page is to be loaded, okay. So what happens in this case is like browser will have the cookies. So those cookies are kind of like it will, if we have the cookies in your browser, then what happens is like it will easily locate it. Okay, I want to say that it will not take much time. So it will just go and try to access those cookies. That's nothing but it's going to have the information about that particular web page. Here you can see. So it is showing the cookies information. Okay. So INR and expires Tuesday 07. This cookies will be expired in this particular date. Okay. And session, we have like session time, and we have like expires details when it expires and everything. Okay. So this is nothing but it's going to hold this information with the web browser. Whenever we are trying to hit the server, right? So it will check for first. It will go and access the cookies. Cookies will have it, and it's going to like establish the connection. It will load the page very easily. Okay. So if you want to delete the cookies, for example, if you want to delete the cookies and then get the cookies, then we have different things here. Okay. So dot delete all cookies. We don't print anything here because we are going to delete the operations. We use the delete operation. So what is happening here? You see at this line, so it is getting the cookies. Okay. So then is like delete managed d dot driver dot manage dot delete all the cookies. Okay. So we are deleting the cookies, and after that I'm trying to get the cookies again. So what is happening here? See session. It is trying to create a session ID. Okay. It has created the session ID. Again, it has pulled out some more cookies. Okay. So this is like, these are the methods which are there in the WebDriver. Still we have like get handles and get window handles, and we have like find elements and other options which are available as part of WebDriver that we'll discuss down the line. Okay. So whenever they are required, then I'll discuss it. So this is all about like, we have a driver methods and elements also. We have a lot of methods which are available in as part of like web element. Okay. So web element is the interface. Under that also we have a lot of methods. You can see click, clear, find element, find elements, get accessible, and then we have like get attribute, get tag name, get location. Okay. So for example, if you want to get the location of this, so then you can use this method. It's going to return positions. Okay. So where that method is exactly, element is exactly located. Okay. So it's going to show you this information. Okay. Pixel, exactly the pixel. Stale element reference exception. It is throwing some stale element not found. Let me just go ahead and use it here. Okay, I'll explain why that stale element exception has come. Now it will not come and will give the location of that particular element on the web page. Okay, you can see that 376 and 10. Okay, so when you try to identify it, you can see its location here. Okay, so base size. Here we have this. In this layouts, it will show you like again. This you can see what is the pixel of it and what is that exactly, where is it located. Okay, so padding information. Where is that exactly located? It will show you. Okay, it was like once it is showing 10 pixels. We got the 10 pixel here. Okay, 376 is like we have to multiply this one. Okay, so when we multiplied with this, it's we are going to get the 376. Okay, 370 or something. So that's nothing, but we can get the exact location, exact position of that particular element. Okay, so let me just show you another things. So this is another class in Java. Position Y. So here I'm not printing out anything in text and Y. So let's see. So point is like one AWT class which is available as part of Java. So it will help you to identify the elements, positions, or where is what is height, pixel, and everything. Okay, location of that particular element. See now 370 and Y. Okay, so what it does is like it's going to get the locations X and Y. You can see that. Okay, so I'm just use this one, right? I'm using this one. So otherwise I can use dot get X or dot get Y. Okay, with the method of with the help of this method, I'm going to identify the exact location of that particular element. Okay, I'm moving to this, but here what it says like we need to identify because element dot get location, we have to get the location, right? We have to, but we are not getting the location of it. Dot. We'll look into this little later, but I just want to show you like this will help you to identify where that if you want to move on this particular element and you want to click on this. So what you can do is like you can move to this element and you can click on that element. Okay. So for example, if you want to send some data, so then you can just move to that element and you can send it. We can have like actions classes for this also. But in case like if you want to identify that particular element location, then you can get that. Okay. So here also we can use some dot get location dot X and Y, and we have to element dot see what it does is like see when I say X, the X coordinate of that point in if no X coordinate is set, it will set to 0. If you have like Y coordinate, then it's like if you want to get the location of it, what it is like return the location of these points. It this method is included for completeness to parallel the get location method and component. So for example, if you have some like this element, where is that element located? So we can easily identify with the help of this get location. But before this, we have to pass the parameters. Let me just take the pass the parameters. Okay, so you can see 376 and 10. Okay, we are getting those and directly you can use this dot X. So it will show you like where this element is located. Dot X and dot Y is like it will go and try to find that element location. Okay, it will show you like these are the locations wherein so it's kind of like a pixel height, width, and everything. Okay, I'll show you in case of like when we try to identify, we have another tool that we have to just use it. So it will I try to identify where this particular element is located. Okay, so x-axis and y-axis, and it will give the pixel points where the particular element is located in the web page. Okay. So likewise, we'll be identifying the elements, guys. So we started with ID, right? So I'll go with name also. I'll take the same example, then copy paste. Example 2. Now what we are trying to do is like we want to do something, right? So some actions like we want to click on that element with the help of like another identifier. Okay. So let me remove everything from here. So here also I'm going to remove. Now I'm going to use name. Okay. So this is like ID that I've used. Now I'm going to use the name. Name and the string name is like name. Okay. So what is the name of this element? Field case. Okay. Field case. Enter here field case. Now let's see what is the title that we are going to. Now we are using by dot name. Earlier we used by dot ID. See again, it is going to identify. So second identification is also working fine. Okay. So we are able to get the title of it. So this is for the name. Okay. So let me go and try to the same set of example here. Oh, sorry. Are you able to hear me now? Hello.
Yes, sir. Now audible.
Oh, there is like power cut at my end, so it got like muted itself. So yeah, I'll explain it again, guys. So the thing is like I am just showing you here. Like first thing is like I try to identify the element with the help of like a name locator, and next is like I'm trying to identify them with the help of like a class name. Okay, so these are the locators. So here we have used the ID, and here I'm using here I'm going to use the name and the class name. Okay, so these are the two identifiers here. So
Sir, actually, your screen is not visible, sir.
okay, 1 second. Let me share the screen. Now are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm really sorry for that, guys. So we have some power disconnected my end. So it disappeared everything. So now you can see we have like ID that I'm trying to identify the element with the help of like ID. And second one is like I'm trying to identify the help of name and class name. Okay. So what are the actions that I want to perform is like first I'll go here. I'll open the web page. Amazon.in. After that, I am just entering some name called Samsung Mobiles. Okay. So after that, I'll be clicking on this get it today. So this element is identified with the help of like name. Okay. So that's nothing but search box. I'm trying to identify with the help of like name. After that, I'm get it today is like I'm trying to identify this element with the help of like a class name. So what is the class name of it? So here you can see this is a class name. Okay. So a hyphen list hyphen item. Okay. What are the actions that I have to perform now is like I will be entering some data here. I'll click on submit. It will list down the mobiles. I'll click on get it today. So what it does is like it's going to load the mobiles wherein I can get it today. Okay, I can see these are the mobiles that I can get it today by UOD. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is like I'll just try to I've created everything here. See, first one is like with the name. I'm identifying the field keywords. That's the thing about search box. I'm entering this Samsung mobile. I'm clicking on submit. After that, I'm just clicking on this class name. That's nothing but a list item. So which will be listing down like the like what are the mobiles that I want to get it by eWordy today. So that I'm just clicking on that option. It will list down the mobiles. Okay. After that, I'm going to get the title of it. So I'll execute this script and see what happens. See, got it? Now we got that everything is like loaded. See, now I can see get it today. Get it today. So what is the title of this page? Inspect and go to the HTML and this body. Yes, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So now you can see, just I'm trying to identify the title here. See, title, what is the title? This is the title, right? So I got the same title, right? Okay, get title dot something. If you want to assert, like you want to check whether that both the titles are matching or not. In that case, I'm going to use assert equals. So here I'm going to put this. If both are equal, then only the program will be terminated. Otherwise, it will show the error. Okay? So let me just put it down here. Okay, let me execute. Okay, now you see it's not matching because we try to select the get it today, but it's not matching. So that's the reason why it will throw the exception here. So expected is like Samsung mobile get it by tomorrow. Okay, so but we have like get it by today. So I'll put tomorrow. Then I try to execute it again. Let's see what happens. It will close because we got it get it by tomorrow, right? Let's see what is the title that we are getting here. What we found. Okay, so we missed one thing. Yes. Samsung Amazon.in Samsung mobile get it by tomorrow. Now we clicked on today. So that is the reason why, like you can see, it is clicked on this get it today. So that is the reason it is throwing the exception here. So we give the tomorrow, but it's showing like today. Okay. So no worries. Just I want to show you like how exactly this validations will be done. So these are the identifiers, right? So now we have like another identifier. So I'll just discuss about two things: linked text and partial linked text. Then we can just conclude the class and we can start XPath and CSS selector tomorrow. Okay. So let me go ahead with the another example here. Guys, are able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is like power on and off, which is going and coming back. So that's the reason why I'm just asking you. Okay. So let me just go to this now. I'm entering some like I'm entering this file. Samsung mobile, sorry. Mobile. Okay. So now I got this mobiles. Okay. So now I want to click on this particular mobile, whichever like here it is available, right? So click on it. You can see there is an image and we have some text which should be appeared. Okay. So I want to like for example, I want to click on this. Okay, let's click on this one. Okay. So let's click on this one. There is like a hyperlink. You can see there is a hyperlink, a anchor tag. Okay. Anchor tag. I just want to click on this. So how do I click on this anchor tag is like I can use the link text. Okay. So I'm clicking on this. Now I'll go back and try to identify this element. Okay. All is what I need to. All is what I want to click on. Okay. So hamburger menu. So I'm taking this. Taking this as like what is that actually? It's an anchor tag. And what is the text which is available here is like all, but it's like you can see they're like identifying ID is there. Then again I have like whatever it's like, yeah, ID again hamburger menu desk box. So this is like menu desktop. So then I need to click on this anchor tag, right? So which is like showing as like all, but it is a text. So I want to click on this particular link. Let me just take it as like something cell. Yeah. This is a link text. Okay, I want to click on this. Cell is a link text. You can see this is a anchor tag. Okay, anchor tag is like it. A's and IMGs are like basically they would be like images or any other anchor tag that will be like have the hrefs, whereas it will navigate to the other pages. Okay, so generally links, if we have a links to click the link, what we have to do is like we have to use the link text. So let me identify. So class name we have dot link text. So what is that link text? Cell is a link text. I'll just comment this. So what it has to do now, it will enter the data, the search box, and it will click on this cell. Okay, SCLL is a cell link text that we have. Based on that link text, it will click on the C. I will click on cell. Okay, that's nothing but what it does is like it will go and search for this particular element by link text. Okay, so after clicking on it, it just closed it. But here you can see what I'm passing is like link text as like cell. Okay, so another thing is like I'm not sure about particular thing, like I only know the partial link text of that particular element. Partial link text in the sense now you can see it says like bestseller. Okay, best space seller. I'm not sure about like whether it is like a best seller or best buyer or something. But I want to click on this best, only best. Okay, so I know only best will be the text that I'm remembering. Okay, otherwise I know only particular key in that particular text. Okay, so I mean like only the contents value, only key in the sense just I'm talking about like only a partial value of that particular text. So here what I need to do is like I need to give the partial link text. If I remember only half part of it, okay, partial part of that particular text, then I need to give the partial link text. Now you see it will go and click on the best sellers. Okay, so it opened now. Clicked on Samsung cell, Samsung mobile. They clicked on the best sellers. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll stop it here. So today we discussed about ID, name, class name, partial link text, and link text. Okay. So these are the 5 identifiers that we have discussed. And tomorrow we'll be discussing about XPath and CSS selector. How do we use this? Okay. So these are very important, guys. In interviews, they are going to ask you, how do we write the XPath? Okay. If you know about identifying the elements with the help of like XPath, then it is like very easy for you to explain them. I'll show you how do we identify the element with the XPath using different ways, like using IDs, using names, tag names. So we have a lot of syntaxes. With that, we'll be identifying the element. Okay. And after that, we'll discuss about the CSS selector. Okay. Okay, guys, thanks for your time. I'm going to upload this, whatever we have discussed programs, right? Those programs I'll be uploading. So I hope you saw the yesterday's video, right? Hello, Devi, are you there?
Yeah, sir.
So did you see the yesterday's video?
No, sir, actually.
Okay, yeah. So they can revisit those videos and try to work on that and let me know if you have any doubts.
Yeah, yeah, sir, sure.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir.